General comment about the game on Saturday, we won. And you got to be happy about a win. There's no question. There was a lot of great things that transpired, took place throughout the course of the game, and you got to be excited when you have an offense that puts over 600 yards up and actually sets a homecoming record for yardage. And then you have a quarterback who's involved at 6 touchdowns, and he actually caught one of them. So it was really exciting to see Tyler throw for over 405 yards, and he presented the ball to 10 different receivers, so we spread it out across the field. The running backs did a great job. Sam Stewart, 116 yards, had a 10.1 yard average, had 2 touchdowns, 1 receiving, 1 running, and I mean, he just was all over the place, getting positive yards and a lot of energy going on around him. And then you have Austin Walters, who steps in, catches 2 balls, and scores also. So it was an exciting time to watch the offense work. Defensively speaking, the first half was a lot of fun. It was fun until we found out that we had 2 soft tissue issues with our corners. So we had to make some adjustments that kind of was a bittersweet type ending because of the injuries that we've had. So the second half really didn't roll as well as you would have liked, but we were able to keep the ball in front of us for the majority of the half, and we got through it. But sometimes you got to take the good with the bad, and that's what kind of transpired in the second half with the defense. But it was also great to see Tabola make a comeback. Came back out, kicked a 44, did a great job with anything we asked of them. Had another field goal attempt, made that. They jumped offside and gave us some opportunities offensively there. So you can still see we're making strides and we're moving forwards, and that's the thing you really want to see is a lot of progress, and that's the progress that we've made. And getting ready for the next game, there's no question they're a great team, #1 offense in the conference. And Coach Holtz does a fantastic job calling plays. They don't run the ball only when they need to, but they're capable of doing it at any time. The quarterback has a lot of athleticism. He's a great scrambler. He can extend plays. The running back, when he touches the ball, is very explosive. Number 5 is probably the go-to guy, and I do apologize. It was kind of a short notice with the illness we're having right now, and it's really going throughout the team, and we just had 6 more. Just had 6 more today walk in and say, I feel horrible. So it is making its rounds. We've got a 5-hour bus trip to Ruston, so we'll get a chance to spend time with one another. Hopefully it'll be great quality time, and airification units, hopefully they're working well. We got great ventilation just in case anything happens. Are there any questions?
Coach, is it just a cold that's going around?
It's just kind of something viral. It's been going around. It's about 24 hours, 48. Several staff members have it. As you see, I'm here, so therefore Coach Bailiff has it. But I believe that everybody will be fine. And we have some guys coming back also. So, Darian Pollard should be back. Zach Wright and Trey Martin is doing a lot of things on the offensive line. So we're picking up a few. So we should be all right. And like I said, the corners, they have some soft tissue things, and they should be in good standing by game time also. Oh, it was exciting because it was a lot of great things happen. And I think it really doesn't make a difference who the opponent is or what the opponent does or where they're from. This was a great offense also. Last year they set a record in their category for over total offense. So we weren't playing slouches. We were playing a football team. As a special teams coordinator, we both have the same assumption that the punter would have been unprotected at that particular point in time. But it's a judgment call. And the call's a judgment call is made by the head official, and I have to support what transpired on the field. There's not anything that my opinion won't float the boat. It does. At times, every athlete's different. They mature in different ways. And Timmy is just coming to the point now that he's starting to play with confidence. He realizes that he has good speed, great ball skills, and he does something that a lot of players don't do. He'll jump for that ball, and he fights for it. He'll fight you for the ball. And that was really great to see. probably the last one that really fought for the ball like that was Jared. Jared was great at going up, getting the ball, high pointing it, pulling over people and things of that nature. And it's really just fantastic to see that type of response from him. And he did. Everything's about confidence and feeling comfortable, not just as an athlete, but all of us, no matter what profession we do. And he's just finally getting to the point now that he's comfortable with what he does. And he had some bumps, some bruises, this, that, and the other. But once you get a little older and you have a bump or a bruise, you start realizing it's a contact sport, and you got to play with that. There's a difference between an injury and and being hurt. Well, it's everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. We're not the only team that's hurt. I mean, if you just look around in schools of our academic standing, Notre Dame has injuries, Stanford has injuries, Northwestern is having injuries, Duke is having injuries. So you're seeing injuries everywhere. And I'm glad I'm not the trainer. And it would probably be better having him up here to explain it. But yeah, you're going to have injuries, and you have to play through them, and you have to work through them, and you got to count on young men to step up and always just be positive with them and work them through the situation. But yeah, the injuries, they're going to happen, and we've had a few over the last 2 years that have really been changed to who we are at the moment. Right, we went from being a more seasoned team to a bunch of young men that, well, as I've said before, we put out 20 razors in the locker at the beginning of the season. There may only be 3 used. So that's just the situation. And you bring those young ones along and you expose them, and at some point in time, they're going to be 50-year seniors like we were in 13. And then they have fun because they're the man. We don't have junior college opportunities to bring in mature guys. We don't restock or anything of that nature. You have to be a Rice qualifier coming out of high school, even if you go to a junior college, to even be considered. So we have to grow them up. We have to nurse them through the injuries. We got to mature them. And they're being challenged on 2 sides, one across the street and one over here. Our conference is not a walk in the park, and nor is our schedule. I think that gives a quarterback an unbelievable amount of confidence to be able to stand in the pocket, step up, throw the ball, and put some air on it. In some of the locations and where he threw the ball, it was just incredible. Some of the ball placement, and you're always looking for those things. Is a quarterback able to throw away from the leverage of the defender and make it catchable where the receiver can get it? And also, one of the biggest things that you had seen this past game is that we got yardage after the catch. The receivers weren't down on the ground, but they're catching the ball, they're getting positive yards. And that part of it is probably one of the biggest things is you'll notice this past week. He responded. Hayden didn't have a good week the last week and the week before. He just didn't have a good week, and he carried over to the field. We chart everything. Every day, the time, the placement of the snap, the height of the kick, and all those different things. And we work pretty much around the 40 to 42 yard line. He's 90% from there, okay? And that's dealing with major wind gusts and things. We always kick into the wind. I don't let him kick with the wind. If you get wind in your sails, that will give you confidence, but it's not reality. The coin flips. So we kick into the wind most of the time, and so those kicks that he has charted they're reasonable things to make him have some confidence. But for some reason or another, he was just out of sync on everything. And this past week, when we opened it up with Jack and made it a little bit more competitive, he responded. He responded with no question. He stepped up, and even during the game, because I'm standing right by Coach, and we're right on the cusp of making that kick. We're going to put Jack in to kill punt, which he's done great all year with only 2 touchbacks. But Hayden walks up and he says, "Coach, I got this." He just looked us dead in the eye and he said, "Coach, I got this." We said score and sent him out there. He got it. So when he comes back with that type of confidence, and he has an unbelievable work ethic, and you got to watch him overkick. And when you overkick and you start kicking long ones, you overkick, you take a lot out of your leg. It's like kickoffs. You take a lot out of your leg when you're trying to kick a greater distance. And also, if you don't slow down on the rotation of your hip, you have a tendency to pull the ball because you're trying to really throw everything into it. So there's a little bit more technique into it than people would think, but he responded well. I was very proud of him, and I'd say Hayden had a comeback. Amazing thing about this whole process, the amazing thing about these young men in this group, that they see themselves improving, and they see situations occurring that they don't have control of, which are questionable throughout the season. A few calls here and there that everybody wonders about. But they stayed focused. They have been focused. They stay a close-knit group and things of that nature. They haven't flaked off. There hasn't been anybody fall off by the wayside or anything far as the team's concerned. They're behind one another 100%. It has been unbelievable to watch them work and watch them execute. For instance, that reverse pass they threw to Tyler, well, they've been working on it. And they were all excited that he was going to get a chance to get a touchdown his senior year. Okay? And I mean, if you watch the execution, it's immaculate. So they're just pushing and pulling and helping and pushing and doing things now. At this stage of the season, yes, the season's not been a whole lot of fun, but they are still in it. They're still wanting to be successful. There is no quit. There is no I can't. There's no excuses. They get together and watch film. They get together and study things together. I mean, this is a very close, they get together and go to dinner, okay? I mean, you got linebacker dinners, offensive line dinners. I mean, they get together on Thursdays and go out and talk about some football, but I'm sure they're doing some things that college people are supposed to do too, like everybody else. But they get together and they do things. So it's not, there's just no dissension. It's a great group and they're very supportive. It's all about offense these days. I mean, it really is. I mean, everybody's putting all the best athletes they can. They're recruiting across the country. They're finding what they can, and they're scoring high points. And the game is moved that way. And so there are no games off. There are none. It's like go to NFL. I'm a CFLer. We didn't have games off. we played against good talent all the time, and that's what's happening here. The offenses have gotten better. You'll see the point structure throughout the country has gone up tremendously. You'll see also that the turnover margins have come down, even though they have gone to more of a spread type things because of control ball type offenses. They're really controlling the ball. They're trying to throw routes that are allowing them success, high percentage routes. And then they do set it up for the one downtown. But they throw the high percentages. You're seeing a lot of bubble screens and things of that nature, quick flares to the back. You're seeing backs come out and there's somebody come over the top, the high-low linebacker. And anytime that you can throw the ball somewhere between the hashes, your percentages go up. And everybody's offense is structured in order to do that. We're trying always to defend the middle. You want them to throw them from the inside out because those are the hardest throws. But the kids are also being trained better earlier, and they're making those big throws. They're expected to make those throws. They're throwing the ball in the trash cans and things of that nature on the corner routes to practice it, and they're coached that way. So yes, it's not going to change. So we can't every week we got to get ready for that, not unless we play one of the academies.